I finally finished my private pilot's license, but where do I go from here? Let's talk about it. Hello my friends, welcome back to Late Departure. I'm Adam, and as some of you may know, this is my continuing journey to hopefully becoming an airline pilot at some point in the future at this late point in my life, at 37 years old. You know, I always say at the end of every video, never too late, and I'm hoping to kind of prove that true for other people out there who might be in a similar situation to me, or maybe like as a message for my future children that they can do anything they set their minds to, and you know, there's really no time limit on that. And I think that should be true. I think it's never too late to really pursue your passions and do what you truly want to do or love to do in life, no matter what's happened in your life up until that point. And it's quite sunny here. All right. So as you can see, I'm in beautiful Vancouver here, just actually south of the city. The main part of the city is just up that way, and just enjoying some of my last time here. And as some of you might know, I have been talking about going somewhere else to do my commercial flight training, and now that I'm finished my pilot's license, finally I'm ready to go somewhere else. And like I've been saying, it's been a lot of research, and I've been looking into what places have, you know, the largest fleets of planes, the best reviews, the happiest students, the best student to plane ratio, best weather, and I've done a whole bunch of videos about that. You can check out some of the previous videos where I've researched some of the weather across Canada to try to make a decision. And after all of that consideration and thinking and talking with so many people, I've quite literally talked with hundreds of people at this point, flight students from all across Canada, to try to find the best place for me to study. And in the end, the choice was, drumroll, was Harv's Air in the center of Canada in Manitoba. And for a whole bunch of reasons, not the least of which being that they got really good reviews. When I've talked with them, they've been extremely honest and friendly, and like, that's the biggest thing, being really honest about what they do and their operations, and like for example, how busy they are and what realistic expectations I might have for things like how much it would cost to complete the training, how long it might take to complete the training. And I found that them, especially compared with a lot of the other flight schools out there, they've been really honest with me about that, and they haven't, you know, tried to get me through the door by saying things like, oh, we'll promise you a flight instructor job, and oh, we'll guarantee that you'll do it for this much money and for this time. They didn't do anything like that. They said, you know, you'll finish it when you finish it. We'll do our best. These are the resources we have. These are the instructors we have. You know, this is how it'll go down probably, but you know, there's always things like weather and stuff to consider. And that's something that not a lot of flight schools do. A lot of them, you know, they just want to get you in the door, and they're like, oh, we have the, I just heard on our Discord channel this morning, one of the guys was talking with a flight instructor who said, oh yeah, come to BC. They have the best weather in all of Canada, and oh, the other flight schools, you shouldn't even look into them. Like, you know, this is just, it happens at a lot of flight schools, it happens to a lot of flight instructors. And what you got to remember is, you know, underlying everything, general aviation and flight instruction and all of that, it's a business when it comes down to it. And so people are trying to make money, instructors are trying to get hours. There's always going to be some kind of personal goal for every person that you talk with. So that's why it's really good to talk with students. And like I said, I talked with a lot of students, literally over 100 students. I've talked with people that I've reached out to on places like Facebook and on the Discord channel and the Canadian aviation channels, all that kind of stuff. I've looked all over the place to talk with these students. And again, talking with them, I found out a lot of interesting truths about various flight schools. I heard good things, I heard bad things, things in between. And yes, ultimately, I made the decision to go to Harv's Air, and I'm really excited about that. I will be actually departing for Harv's in the beginning of December, and I'm hoping to just jump right into things and get my training going, and I'm super excited to do that. But most of all, I'm just excited to have finished the private pilot's license because it was really difficult. And like those who have been following me know, you know, I struggled with everything from bookings to weather to maintenance, basically everything that could possibly go wrong. like Murphy's Law, as they say, it happened to me. And honestly, maybe it was just me. My experience may be very isolated. It might not happen to anyone else. Maybe I just had bad luck. Or maybe it was a somewhat average experience. And from what I've heard from a lot of flight students, it was fairly average. You know, you're never going to have 100% on all your bookings. There's always going to be some issues with weather. And especially this year, those of you who have been keeping up with Vancouver weather, we've had water spout, tornadoes. I'm not even sure if we can actually call them tornadoes yet. We had heat waves that literally burned down an entire city, Lytton in British Columbia. If you haven't heard about that, you can look it up. It was absolutely terrible. We had forest fires, which you'll see in some upcoming videos I'll be posting of my cross-country flight. My dual 150 nautical mile cross-country was during the forest fires, and the smoke was unbelievable. Couldn't see anything. It was nearly IFR conditions. Barely had the VFR minima, and so we were able to go. But that being said, it was still quite scary and quite challenging to do that flight during that time. So that's just something that, you know, maybe it's just this year that things have been like that. Maybe things are going to get worse over the coming years, or, you know, we can't really tell yet. But based on my experiences this year, my new perspective on it is kind of hope for the best, but expect the worst, because, you know, you never know what's going to happen. Whether it's the flood that just happened recently, whether it's the fires, whether it's windstorms, all that kind of stuff. Floods were another thing. And so I haven't talked about this that much. And I'm so sad that I couldn't bring a camera during my flight test, because I did my flight test right after the floods happened in Abbotsford. And you may have seen some of the pictures and videos. Abbotsford, where I usually practice, where you've seen a lot of my footage and a lot of videos of me going to Abbotsford or near Chilliwack, it's become pretty much a lake. And I heard it actually was a lake before that they drained out or something. I don't know the specifics of it, but the entire area there was underwater. And I had to do my forced landings kind of guessing where the fields might be, because, you know, you just couldn't see anything. It was just water as far as the eye could see, and it was heartbreaking, because all I could see from up in the plane were the roofs of houses and boats near the roofs of houses and people standing on their roofs waiting to be rescued and all of that kind of stuff. And we've had an amazing effort in BC to help rescue all of these people who got stranded during this absolutely terrible crisis here. But that just brings to mind, so is that going to affect the future? Like, all of the people who were flight training out in Abbotsford for the past few weeks here haven't been able to do any flight training, or even in the area, a lot of the areas around where we usually do our practice became temporarily restricted areas by NOTAMs, or just in general, people have been recommended not to go there. So there's a whole kind of issue happening with flight training out in that specific area right now. And it's unfortunate, but again, this might happen in the future as global warming happens. You know, we might see a lot more floods. We might see a lot more of these issues happening, which again could impact flight training. And as far as I've heard so far, we haven't had too many of those things impacting flight training in Winnipeg, where I'm going, well, in Steinbeck more specifically for Harv's Air. But who knows? You never know what could happen. We could have extreme heat instances. Again, we could have extreme cold. And we'll find out in a few weeks what that's going to be. I'm going to take you guys along with me. I'll show you kind of my trip over there. I'm actually going to be driving across the country, so I'll post a few videos just showing what the drive looks like and some of the beautiful, beautiful nature that we have out here in Canada along the way. And I'll hopefully also start doing maybe some kind of weekly update videos just showing you what it's like to train in Manitoba. If it's as good or as bad as people say, we'll find out in person, and I'll make sure to share it with all of you. So that's it. That's my big news. I'm so happy that I passed. I'm just going to enjoy my last little while here. I might post another few videos just showing you around Vancouver and why I love this city so much. And, you know, ultimately, I'm making a big decision to leave the city that I grew up in and that I love to go somewhere else to do flight training. And you know, if you're serious and you want to get it done, you have to consider, you know, you might have to leave the place that you're comfortable with to go somewhere where you can get training done faster or more efficiently, especially if you're like me and you're older and you just want to get your career started so that you can get some good aviation years in the latter years of your life. In my case, you have the last maybe 20 or so career years of my life. I'd like to really try to do something with that. So that's it for today. As always, I always enjoy having all of you out along with me for this late departure here. And if any of you have any questions or comments or anything like that, let me know either in the comment section here or check out the Discord channel. Constantly growing. It's getting massive now, but we have a lot of amazing people there who are there every day having conversations, discussing, all the really interesting things that are happening for them in aviation, and we're also getting new information every day about what it's like at various flight schools and stuff like that. So come check it out. It's a lot of fun, great place, a lot of amazing people there. It's really just a wonderful place to come and hang out and chat about aviation. So if any of you are out there flying, I hope you are flying safe, having a lot of fun, out enjoying weather, hopefully a bit like this. It's really nice weather out today. And remember, it's never too late. See you next time.